Give me my earphones. Yeah, I am. Thank you. Little bit, I'll change it later. Can't really help it right now. Thank you. Hmm? Music stopped there. Hmm. Hmm. Music is still around. Yeah. But I can't keep music over there because Twitch is on over there. तो वहाँ पे म्यूजिक नहीं लगा सकता. चलेगा ना. ठीक है. Can you hear it now? म्यूजिक आ रहा है? ठीक है. It's okay. Hi Priyanshu. Hi Shivang. Can you guys hear me? Is there like a disturbance in my voice? Is it clear? I'm trying to sort out a lot of things in my Twitch right now to see what is a good workflow. Disturbance आ रहा है क्या Shivang in what I'm saying? Oh, okay. Great. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, Heta, what's up? Let's see if there is any disturbance when I actually connect my charger. Hopefully there shouldn't be because I'm using my earphones as my mic now, so should be much clearer. As you can turn down YouTube volume a little bit. Okay. Yeah, actually, that's Actually, it's quite low already. Turning it down any more would actually be like not being able to listen to anything. Maybe just a little bit more. Yeah, is that better or should I turn it down even more? Ah, okay, cool. So I started Mermaid. Hello, hi, hi Aditi. I started Mermaid like uh 2 or 3 days back. I went going ahead with a few designs at this point of time. I've decided not to do it on an everyday basis as such because that would just be too much. I'm thinking of doing like about 10 to 15 designs for Mermaid, and so I came up with the idea of why not showing like Indian dance forms uh, in the form of mermaids. So I started off with that idea. One of the ideas that I'm dabbling with right now is this. I hope you guys can see it. This was the idea was to actually add the dance form of kuchipudi into a mermaid kind of a design. So I took a reference image for this. This was the actual reference image. So I took a reference image for this and basically thought of adding the entire kuchipudi understanding into a mermaid. Giving her a sari and everything. Before that I did Kathak also, and I finished the Kathak design. So this was the Kathak design that I had finished yesterday. So this is the kind of finished product that I'm looking at to be able to do something like this. Planning to put like an underwater BG in it too. So this for example this Kathak thing, this actually has that underwater BG kind of a look. Not something that is overly detailed or very finished as such, but just putting out ideas. So this is the kind of work that I am aiming to do, and the same thing that I've actually put into this Kuchipudi understanding as well. So, and trying to make them look like they are different breeds of mermaids. I don't want to give this entire Kuchipudi the same kind of look that this this Kathak mermaid has. So you can see that the Kathak mermaid is kind of looks a little reptilian, kind of looks a little reptilian in nature, whereas the Kuchipudi is more uh, floral mermaid kind of a thing. So I'm trying to put this floral mermaid idea into this entire Kuchipudi thing right now. And if you see that I'm actually going with a more not really a digital painting understanding. I'm putting in concrete shades everywhere and multiple understandings of concrete shades. So for example, right now this entire thing has gone through just a single pass of shadow. Now I'm going to put in a second pass of shadow also into this, and also I'm going to introduce highlights. Right now the highlights are only on the skin. I'm going to add highlights in the rest of the designs, in the rest of the design as well, and finish it off with some dodge and burn effects here and there, and move into the background also. Uh, and I'm planning to put different backgrounds. For example, for this Kathak, I put in this very abstract seaweed kind of an understanding. For the Kuchipudi one, I was thinking, what if I could actually draw like a school of fish behind her? So the school of fish is just passing by or passing around her, and she's dancing with the fishes. So that's the kind of idea that I'm trying to generate. So I am planning to take different dance forms from different parts of India. The next one that I'm going to be approaching, I've already thought about it, though no, I've not thought of what to approach ahead of that. So the next one that I'm going to be approaching is Lavani, the the dance from Maharashtra, Lavani, and from Lavani maybe I'll move into I don't know, Bharatnatyam, and then look at different other forms. I'm done with Kathak. I'm doing Kuchipudi right now, and let's see how this goes. I haven't started uploading these designs yet, but I guess I will do them from tonight or from tomorrow. Let's see. Uh, it's been some time since I've done a series of illustrations, so I want to do at least 10 for these, and if I can do 15, then I'll be very happy with myself. Okay, now to figure out the layers again. So just to give you guys the transition of the layers, this has nothing in it. I don't know why this layer is there. This is my final line art layer. This was my rough line art layer that I had done. From the rough line art layer, I will go into my final line art layer, which is a very polished line art layer. Fill in this color. This gold is there by mistake. It should actually not be there. But I started off with the turquoise color, and over the turquoise colors, I started feeding in simple colors. I thought that pink would be a very nice mix with the turquoise that I have given, that I put in as a base layer, right? So I thought that pink would be very nice. And along with the pink, I also put in the flat shades for the costumes and the accessories, the gold that she's primarily wearing, as well as the flowers that's adorned around her head, right? And then I put in the shadows for this, for just the top part, and then I put in the shadows for this, which is our, which is the entire fish part of her, the mermaid part of her. And these, if I'm not wrong, yep, those are the eye highlights. They have been done over the line art. The eye highlights have come in over the line art just to accentuate the eyes properly a little bit, right? So as I was saying, this is the first pass of shadows that I have put into this design. I'm just going to move into my second pass of shadows, and the shadows for the costume has been done differently because they are basically, what I've done is this is the base color, and over the base color I've just put in a darker shade of that color, and the highlights and the shadows for the mermaid part is done differently. This The mermaid part is basically black that is done on 30% opacity. The main reason why I've done that is because if you actually look at the mermaid part of her, she is actually going through varied shades, right? She's going through transitional shades, or basically like, gradients, and to be able to pick those gradients and go with a darker color and so on and so forth can become very, very challenging. And so instead of actually doing that, I just went with 30% opacity black. So there is a uniformity. I don't have to constantly pick colors, and the shadows come in really well. You know. So for the second pass of shadows, I'm basically going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to select a new layer that is silk clip mask, and this layer is also going to be in 30%. And in this layer, I'm still going to be working with black, but I already have 130% black opacity on top. Another 30% black below it is just going to accentuate the shadows without me having to worry about colors too much. So basically the output is going to be something like this. So if it's black, the output is going to be something like this, right? So the second pass of shadows is going to look something like that. So whenever I'm doing something like this, right, it's always so much more better when you can manage your canvas properly. Spin it around. It's always tedious to kind of paint against the flow of your hand, and so I always prefer to actually change the orientation of the canvas such that it matches the flow of my hand, so that I don't have to bend my wrist in an awkward angle or anything like that. मजा आ गया. Thank you. So what is everyone doing? What is everyone watching nowadays? Is there anything specific any of you are watching? Hmm, there is a lag over there. Prab got pissed watching my drawing. Which drawing are you guys talking about? I have no context here. 2D storyboard. I'm drawing with a mouse and he got pissed as hell. Why are you drawing with a mouse though? Watch Invincible now. Yes, yes, Adu, I will watch it. I promise. I don't have a tablet. I dropped you a text asking about the Wacom as well. Oh, yes, right. So let campus reopen again, right? Campus is expected, not for students, of course, but for at least for administration officials. Campus is expected to open after the lockdown, which is supposed to end on the 15th. You know, because right now, even if we could courier it, we can't courier it because there's no one on campus, right? So let campus open for the administrative officials at least, and after that, I should be able to tell you whether any tablet or Cintiq can be couriered or not. You know, but for now, at least when you're talking about storyboards, maybe you should try doing it directly on paper. Yeah, because I'm sure even if anyone for that matter tries to draw on a mouse, uh, the results are not going to be very nice. You know, the summon character design and what I can't draw the expected outcome with a mouse. Yeah, so try and draw it with this thing. Try and draw it on paper, and see how that comes out. Because obviously, drawing with a mouse is not going to give you the results that you want. So I've kind of gotten into a new habit, and it is becoming an extremely constructive habit, and I'm able to churn out some designs, including this one. This also I churned out while doing that, and that is, I guess you guys might be doing it, but it's very new to me, and that is listening to podcasts while doing these designs. It's really really nice. I've never actually listened to podcasts while working, and I just started listening to podcasts, and it is so effective, and it keeps your mind running while you're doing these designs, makes you think while you're doing these designs, and I feel like it is at this point in time, affecting me constructively and creatively, listening to podcasts and drawing. It's really really nice. I do that too most of the times while working. Yes, because I feel like listening to the kind of stuff that people say on good podcasts really really helps. Uh, what which kind of podcast? Okay, so one of the podcasts that I'm listening to, not one of the actually the podcast that I've started with, and I'm only listening to that for now. It's called The Draftsman. It's an extension of one of the ventures that Proco does. I'm guessing you guys already know of Proco, Stan Prokopenko. So he is doing this podcast along with I forgot his name, but he's an exceptionally good art instructor. Um, Damn it, I forgot his name. Let me just look for it. Yep. So the draftsman. This is the podcast that I'm listening to. It's not literally a podcast, but there is nothing as such very visual about this, so you can actually just listen to it while it's going on, right? And these guys are just amazing. right? So yeah, listen to this. Go to Draftsman, and they talk about so many different types of stuff. About what are good art practices, what are the things that you should keep in mind while doing art, what are the different uh, understandings behind art, what it means to be a good art student, what it means to be a good art teacher, what it means to kind of go into a self exploration journey of learning. It's just amazing. It's they cover some lovely topics, and uh, through this podcast I came to know about so many different other uh, uh, traditional artists who they consider masters. And so I started looking into their work, and now I'm so mind blown. And it's like a melting pot of inspiration, this podcast. So I would definitely recommend for people who listen to podcasts and do their work, especially creative work. You guys should go ahead and listen to The Draftsman. There are, I think, three seasons of The Draftsman, and I'm not really going in any particular order. I just randomly pick out any particular podcast that they are that is there and just listen to them. If any of you are struggling with your art, and are wondering how to get better at your art and how you should be thinking, then these podcasts are definitely for you. It's definitely for me also because both of them, Stan Prokopenko as well as the other guy who talks, as I said, they are art instructors, right? So the kind of thought processes that they have when it comes to teaching their students is really uh, interesting to hear. Some of the things I try to implement as an art teacher. Some of the things I've never heard of before, so it gives me content to think about. Just uh, just let it stew in my mind. So listen to this podcast. It's just amazing. It's such a good inspiration point. I think it was one of the podcasts that I was listening to just today morning, where they were talking about um they were talking about liking a piece of art, you know, uh, any particular piece of art, whether that could be just a painting, or that could be a movie, or that could even be a podcast, for example, because that's also something that has been created. It is a work of art at the end of the day because you put creative concepts into it to be able to build something like this. And the one of the things that they were talking about is liking something. Why do we end up liking something, especially something that is creative? Answering that question is one of the greatest responsibilities of an artist. Why do I like this? There is absolutely no way that you like something just for the sake of liking it. And so to be able to answer that question, why do you like something? And this is very personal, right? This is not some kind of a psychology thesis uh, that people are expected to write. Of course not. This is extremely personal. And since it is so personal, you should have the capacity as an artist to be able to basically decipher and say, I like this particular thing because of so and so reason. You know, this is why I am attracted to this. And similarly, I don't like this particular piece of work because of so and so reason. And the more you basically answer that question, the more you will be able to get better at your own art because you start becoming critical, sort of. So it starts from I don't like this piece of work because I don't like the color scheme, or I don't like the composition, or I don't like the perspective, or I don't like the anatomy, or any of the above reasons. To eventually coming down to your own work, and so basically you're doing the work and you start critically examining your work and saying that okay, this is where I think I've gone wrong. This is where it might be wrong. This is where it might be wrong. This is where it I can do better, and so on and so forth. So it eventually, when you make it a habit, it becomes critical in nature. Everything becomes critical in nature. I found that extremely helpful, and I think that is something that I don't really push my students to do, and that is being able to look at their own work and say, this is where I've gone wrong. This is where I can improve, and this might just be the method by which I can improve this particular piece of work. So that's definitely one of the takeaways that I got from that particular episode. That is to be able to equip my students to be able to do that, to be able to answer the question, why is this not working? I don't like you. If you don't like Jugal, then Prab, I think it is time for you to question, why do you not like Jugal? Quite like giving the nice wavy texture to the fin. So, what do you guys think of this idea of making like traditional Indian dances in the form of a mermaid, the form of mermaid? One of the reasons why I really like this idea. You think you can't? What does that mean? You can't fathom? Because one of the reasons why I was so interested in this idea is because the concept of mermaids don't exist in Indian traditions. They don't exist in Indian mythology at all. What exists in Indian mythology is the concept of Nagas, right? Nagas were another species of like kind of characters or people that were there in Hindu mythology, but they were not really mermaids as such. Though, if you actually look at the rendition of mermaids in Harry Potter, if you remember, um, the fourth movie, the Goblet of Fire, the mermaids in that in Harry Potter actually reminds me so much of the Indian concept of Nagas. Thank you, Nandini. Yeah, exactly. So Indian mermaids as such, the concept of Indian mermaids don't exist. What does exist in the idea in the concept of Indian mermaids is the Nagas, right? They were not really Indians. They were not really mermaids. They were more reptilian in nature than what you would consider fish, right? But that's why I actually thought that this would be a very interesting idea. Mermaids as such is a very European concept. Yeah, I don't know if it is biblical in nature. I don't know if mermaids find their roots and origins in the Bible, but definitely European fantasy stories, fantastical stories, had a lot of these kind of creatures. Part human, part animal. That's why you will also find more centaurs as well, minotaurs, and so on and so forth. They're very European concepts. Though that kind of a mix also existed even much before Europe. It existed in Egypt. Egyptian gods are that hybrid of animals and humans combined together, Ra and Anubis, and so on and so forth. They were a mix of animals and humans together. So yeah, I think that uh, hybridization started in it started in India. It started in Egypt long before it even came into uh, the stories of Europe. You know, probably started when Zeus fucked a fish. Did he? I'll not be surprised if he did, very honestly, because mythology has that way of, uh, you know, perverting perversion, so to speak. So I will not be surprised if there is a king of Zeus who is part human, part fish, because Zeus thought, why not? I hope there is no one here who is going to be insulted by what I just said. Said RTX voice you using? Actually, yes. Hi, Ishan. I did download RTX voice, and what I also decided to do is to use my earphones as my mic. So I'm actually using both. Which table are you using? What do you mean by table? I mean, are you talking about my work table? Is that what you're talking about? You didn't really miss a lot, actually. I started the stream midway of the design in any case. So the oh, tablet. Oh, okay. Table. वही मैं सोचूं table की पूछ रहा है. Tablet. I am using a Wacom One medium-sized tablet. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm using a Wacom One medium-sized tablet. This is a gift to me from my wife because I was sitting at home and whining about the fact that uh, my tablet is in the office. So I think my wife at some point went like, "Here, take this tablet." So she bought this tablet for me as something like a half birthday gift. And so yes, I'm using this tablet now because my wife gave me this tablet. This is actually brand new, brand new in the sense that it's not even a month old. Must be like just 2 weeks old. So it's a delight to kind of work on this. Super smooth with just the right amount of friction because of the tip of the pen, right? Oh, my wife is here. She says, "You're welcome." One by Wacom. Yes, one by Wacom. Yep. Wait, I don't know who Maximus is. Who is Maximus? Yes, Maximus. Can you please introduce yourself? I don't know Maximus. Really, I thought Huon is actually a good brand. I thought that it is becoming a valid contemporary to Wacom. I did not know that Huon's tablets are not working well. No, pens are shit. No, it's contemporary for 6 months. Like they start hovering over the tablet. Yeah, they don't detect. Versus the wire. But I do plan on buying the new Huon in matte blue. I see. Bojro, sir, if I'm not wrong, I think Bojro is working with a Huon. I think he has the Huon screen tablet, and quite big also. So whenever you are having the lecture with Bojro, sir, you can see that he is sitting in front of the screen, right? I think that's his screen tablet. and it is Huon. He I don't think he has any complaints as such. And I think because of that only I thought that okay, Huon is actually not doing bad. No, 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 it's not an XP pen. XP pen, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on a stream or not, but I'm not at all a big fan of XP pen. XP pen is definitely something that I did not quite enjoy from the get go. So I whenever people ask me, um, XP pen is something, yeah, something that I don't quite enjoy myself. From the very beginning, I found XP pen to be very weird. And I've never worked on the screen tablets. Maybe the screen tablets are good, but I don't know anyone who is using an XP pen. And when I demoed the XP pen out, so I got the opportunity to demo the XP pen out both at office, because I know some people from XP pen, and also from at Comic Con and stuff like that. I got the opportunity to demo some XP pens. Never quite liked it. It was never quite right. The kind of fluidity that Wacom tablets actually give you, and I'm a very big fan of tablets. I do not enjoy working on screen tablets. I love working on these normal tablets because I've been working on them for so long that now if I actually wanted to look at the screen and work, then I would rather take a paper than actually work on the screen. So um, I actually really love working on my normal old school tablets like how I'm working right now. Given the option, I would any day pick a tablet. That's exactly what I did in the office. When I just came into the office, at that time, basically I was asked, what would you like to work on? Would you like to work on the screen tablet because we can make that available for you, or do you want to work on a pen tablet because we can make that available for you? And I jumped at the opportunity of being able to work on a pen tablet rather than on the screen tablet. Okay, so that is the second pass of shadows on the mermaid part of it. Maybe I could add some shadows here as well. Biopunk mermaid. Holy shit, what would that look like? That genuinely sounds scary to me, to try and create a biopunk mermaid. Holy shit. Okay, I think I can give it a try. Or should I? Would I be getting myself into trouble by trying to create a biopunk mermaid? Siren also count as mermaid. Yeah, I know. Sirens also do count as mermaid. So I think I'm gonna put one of these illustrations out there on Instagram. I have not posted on Instagram in ages. It's been so long since I posted something on Instagram. So maybe now. There was a time, quite some time back. Think of it as you are in college. Wait, you are? Yes. So there is going to be some. There was some time back in the past. I think about, I don't know, 7 years ago, maybe even more than that. I don't know. Where I was actually very invested in trying to create a brand value for myself. You know, as you all of you are eventually going to learn that one of the things that you're going to have to do, especially in the digital age and in the age of the pandemic and so on and so forth, and that is to be able to create a kind of like a brand value for yourself. Where you put out as much work as you possibly can into social media and try and create a brand value for yourself. The kind of brand value where if people just see your work, they will instantly recognize, oh, that this is that guy's work. Oh, this is this guy's work. Just by the kind of style that you have and the kind of content that you create. You know, so I was very invested in trying to create a brand value for myself. I have a Facebook page called Nag, and this this Facebook page was I was very active on this Facebook page. As I said, uh, like 5 6 years ago, I think I was very active on it, and I was active enough to be able to kind of create a brand for myself. My with my work and with my name. Uh, I was able to accumulate, I think, about um, I don't know, 4,000 followers. I think, I am not entirely sure. Maybe less than that, probably. But trying to accumulate those 4,000 followers took me quite some amount of time. It took me, I guess, 2 years of constant work and constantly putting out content out there. But I completely stopped that, I think, uh, after some time, because the entire brand value that I had created on Facebook at that point in time, Instagram was not very big at that point in time. I just joined Instagram. There were not many people on Instagram back then, as much as there are now. Now Instagram is a much bigger artist platform than Facebook is, but back then Facebook was the the big deal. There was no other social media site that was even coming close to Facebook. There was Snapchat for mobile, but for when it comes to the PC and stuff like that, there was absolutely nothing that was even close to being a contemporary to Facebook. Twitter, of course, has been around for a very long time, but Twitter and Facebook are very different platforms if you actually compare them. So Facebook was a big thing, and I was trying to build something. So anyway, coming back, so I stopped doing that uh, because my entire brand value was built on only one single type of content, and that was making portraits. So I I started getting quite well known back then because of my portraits, you know, and I was, uh, uh, I was quite good at it back then. People really liked it. I was good at trying to create realistic stuff, realistic portraits back then. And then I think just one fine day I just gave up on it because I had grown very, very bored of making portraits, and I just wanted to stop. I wanted to change my reputation as just a portrait artist, and so I just stopped. I stopped creating portraits, and after I stopped creating portraits is when I realized when I tried to move into other aspects of drawing and painting is when I realized that wow, I'm actually really really weak in everything else that I want to create. You know, I wanted to create characters from my imagination. I wanted to create portraits from my imagination, so on and so forth. And when I tried to do that, I thought that I'm going to continue having a brand value just in something else completely, just in some other part of design, maybe. Like as I said, I wanted to create characters, I want to create backgrounds. And when I started doing that, is when I suddenly realized, holy shit, I'm actually really weak in all these things. I was not able to create characters at all. And characters is the first thing that I wanted to jump into. I was not able to create characters at all. And I realized that I'm actually really, really, I'm in really deep waters here because I was not able to do it. And I wanted to become a concept artist and I could not draw characters properly. And that's, I think, at that junction is where my true learning started, I believe, because I wanted to get rid of the idea of just creating portraits for the rest of my life and actually being able to create a lot more than that. And that's when my true learning started. That's when I realized that holy shit, I'm not good at this at all. I'm failing quite miserably, and I really need to do something. I really need to learn and redeem myself. And so from then onwards, I didn't quite uh, concentrate on creating a brand for myself. True, I actually uploaded a lot of things on Facebook, and not a lot of things on Facebook. I uploaded a lot of things on Instagram. After that, when Instagram started becoming a thing, I started uploading a lot of things on Instagram, but not per se to be able to build a identity again, to build a brand for myself again. So now at this point in time, I have decided that I'm going to try and do that again, and I'm going to try and build a brand for myself again. And as I said, that brand thing happened almost 6 years back, and from that point on, I started practicing more and more and more and more to now when I actually think I have the confidence to build a brand all over again. Because that's just how long it factually took me. Yes, Ishan, I know, and that's going to take some time, but all you have to do is just continue doing it, not and not say that fuck this shit, I'm not gonna do this shit. No, can't really go down that road. So, from when can we start doing digital art? Extend the video essay deadline. Yes, I did extend the video essay deadline. How did you know? How do you know about the visual essay? And again, Maximus, can you give me an introduction? I don't know who you are. I know, sir. The walls communicate. The walls don't communicate. I'm sure you either know a filmmaking student or a BBA student, and they basically told you that the deadlines have been reworked. I know a filmmaking student. I thought so. I knew it. I'm helping him kind of with the pacing and supervising. I see. What does he say about the lecture? Did he enjoy the lecture? Did he learn anything from it? That's that's good. That's nice to hear. Yes, lettuce leaves, lettuce fins. So we came up with some ideas. So we will be doing a movie called Toxic Avenger Part 2. The movie is bonkers. It's the first superhero made out of toxic waste and the most disfigured yet. Wow. Toxic Avenger. I would actually expect a superhero like that to be like a cyber superhero, uh, who is doing the rounds in, I don't know, League of Legends servers because of the sheer amount of toxicity that is there in the game. I know, right? Is he here? I'm looking at the chats now from my from the Twitch app on my iPad, and the crappy part about that is that I mean it's really handy and all, but the crappy part about it is that I can't see the people who are there in the video session. You know, like previously I was able to see it when I was working on the iPad because I was logged into Twitch from my PC, so I was able to see it. But now, since I'm doing everything on my PC, I'm not able to log into the PC version of Twitch, be able to see that. So that's a little bit of a drawback, but that's okay. I can work with that. Okay, I think we are done with the shadow passes. I can put some shadow passes over here also. Cool, let's see that. Mike a little on Jugaad side today. Yes. Oh, I didn't know that. James Gunn. Yes, the mic is on the Jugaad side today. Actually, it's going to be like this only, I'm guessing, because correct me if I'm wrong, there is not as much disturbance as there usually is on the mic, right? Today is my voice a lot more clear in today's session? Yeah, sounds. Oh, sounds like a walkie-talkie. I did not know that. I actually thought it would be better. I didn't know it sounds like a walkie-talkie. Sounds like the suppression is high, I think. See, must be. Okay, I think we are done with the shadow path. No, I have to do something about the hair as well. Let me do something about the hair. Darker. Oh, okay. Okay. Now maybe I think I'm sure I'll jump back to this at some point or the other, but now we can move into trying to define some highlights into this thing. Okay, highlights. I can start off with the highlights in this layer itself, or I take a new layer, clip mask that, and then move into the highlights. This highlight segment is something that I can do with individual colors instead of the thing that I was doing with black. I don't think I need to do that. I can actually just move into the highlight segment as is. I did not do the shadows for the jewelry. Let me just quickly do the shadows for the jewelry. Cool. Now I can come back to the highlights. Oh, no, not done yet. Same here. Okay. Okay, nice, interesting. Vignesh, are you there? So what have you been watching? Have you been watching anything? Considering the sheer amount of work that is there loaded on you at this point of time, have you been watching anything? Do you get the opportunity? Surprisingly, yes. What have you been watching? A spin-off to the Star Wars Clone Wars series recently came out, so watch that. Then all of us finished the Pirates of the Caribbean series. I never watched it. All of us being watch it with the other guys me, Rajat, Prathamesh, Aman. Oh, watched Madagascar 2 yesterday. Awesome. Wrestling with Unity. How's it going though? Fixed a lot of stuff. That's great. Great to hear. Camera movement has full freedom now. We can take it anywhere along a fixed path. We can now have custom dialog box. Nice. Dialog boxes, I think. Okay, cool. Working towards fixing the look, then we will move on to storyboarding. Alright. Let me know when you want the next meeting. I already told you guys that, and I shall fix up something. Okay. So, just trying to pick out the right colors, I guess. You can see the purples. You just move that. Yeah. The purples that are actually working so well over here does not match on the blue side. And that picking out the right colors, especially in this gradient environment, can be quite tricky. Let me just show you these. Let me see the blue works over here. Oh, blue does work here. Looks a little weird in certain places. Especially don't like this one. It was just odd. Okay. We'll try and implement those kind of colors here also. Let's pick this turquoise up and see. I like to leave these what looks like small little speckles here and there. It looks interesting to me at least. Take on the pink. Too many here. I'll just remove some of these. One from here also. Okay, not too shabby. Not bright enough. Okay, so that should be fine. Now coming to the main body of the fish, I'm definitely going to have to look at how to manage the scale. Which brush are you using currently? Actually, for the entire coloring segment, every single color has actually been done with just my hard round pressure size. I don't know why the hard round pressure size looks so opaque at this point of time, but it has the pressure sensitivity working absolutely fine. And that's what I'm using. I'm using the default hard round pressure size. No um, downloaded brushes for that effect. So now the scale is going to pick up a nice bright hue for this. Increase the size of my brush and just make these little dabs. To try and create something like this, an effect such as that. Maybe reduce them a little bit. For example, that one was really coming out, so something like this I'm gonna use the same colors to try and create the same effect on the other side also. Try and create something like this. Even in the shadow segment, for example, I can take a color that is a little less and just fill in what looks like, sheen from scales. And just like keep it at that. Keep it at something just as simple as that. That should work just fine. Moving into this, now this is the area that is actually going to have the most amount of highlight. So working with that is going to be a little tricky, but we will see what we can do. Whenever I'm putting these highlights, right, I'm mainly on trying to see where exactly it's going to be on a rise, where the scales or where the fins are going to be on a rise, because wherever it is on a rise, that is where it is going to actually have or create the most amount of contrast. The most amount of highlights is going to be generated only on those places that is actually a little bit on the rise. So I'm just trying to figure those areas out and use highlights over there. You know, use the same thing over here as well. This sort. And yeah, I'm actually quite happy with the highlights also. I'm sorry. Water. And now for the background. So for the people who just joined or who have not uh, been following the stream from the very beginning, so the idea is to be able to create um, Indian dance styles, both classical dance styles as well as folk dance styles, and transform them into a kind of mermaid. And I've been thinking of doing a number of these. One of them was this one, which is basically, as you can see, the title of it. It's Kuchipudi. So I've taken the Kuchipudi dance form and actually tried to convert that into a kind of a mermaid of sorts, and just add that kind of costume. Yesterday, I finished this design, which was Kathak. So this is basically the style segment of it. This is the kind of style that I'm planning to follow for this series. So it's going to have a background like this and some kind of different types of elements in the background, for example, that extends outside of the rectangle of the background. So that's the same thing I'm going to be doing for this as well. So for this also, I'm going to be creating a frame, though not the kind of rectangular frame that we had seen for the Kathak one, because the Kathak one is more vertical in nature as compared to this one. This one is also vertical, but at the same time, it kind of extends outwards. So I'm going to be using more of a square type frame for this rather than the rather than the vertical frame, the rectangular frame that the Kathak one has. So just gonna add, add something like this. You can adjust the size of it later as well, but basically add something like this to the piece. What led you to this idea? So I wanted to do something for mermaid, right? Obviously, that's the core of this idea. I wanted to do something for mermaid, and I was practicing gestures, and so I thought one of the best places to practice gesture would be to use classical Indian art, Indian dance forms, classical Indian dance forms. So I was actually I took down some references for Kathak poses. I took some references for Kuchipudi poses, and I took some references for Lavani poses. And that's when it struck me, why don't I actually merge these two ideas? I wanted to do something for Mermaid, and I was looking at the posts of Mermaid, and so I thought, why not actually add the Kuchipudi dance form with a mermaid? Why not with a mermaid? Why not add the Kathak dance form with a mermaid? And so and it's I was just talking about this. It's very interesting because it's like a mix of the European understanding of mermaids with Indian classical dance forms. The idea really attracted me, so I thought, yeah, let's why not, let's go ahead and see what it looks like. And I'm I was quite happy with what the Kathak thing eventually ended up looking like. I am even more happier with the Kuchipudi idea that I have done right now, because it just starts, the design starts to blend in very seamlessly, and that's very exciting to me when designs start moving, like contributing to each other seamlessly. That's very exciting to me. So I thought, yeah, why not? This is a very interesting direction to go in, and I continued with it. You know. So let me just figure out a nice uh, background for this. Okay. Now, as I was saying, I wanted to create a school of fish around her. So let me just do a rough kind of a sketch of what it is that I want. I actually don't know what it is that I want, so maybe a rough sketch would be nice. Holy shit, how do you draw fish? I do not want to end up drawing fishes like how we actually do in school, but I feel that I might just end up doing that. I mean, what other way is there to draw a fish? Now that I actually think about it, the way that we draw a fish in school is actually the most adequate way of drawing a fish. Holy shit. What do you know? Make a fish brush and use scatter effect. Remember Finding Nemo. No, I actually don't remember Finding Nemo. And yes, I can make a fish brush and use scatter effect. Uh, but the thing with that is that I find the outcome to be extremely mechanical. I don't know if that is just my subconscious mind or if it is actually so, if the scatterbrush is actually so computationally rigid, but I find the outcome extremely mechanical. I do not like seeing that outcome at all. So I prefer not to do something like that. But then again, the only other way of doing something like this is to copy paste the shit out of it, and that's quite rigid in itself. I don't know, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy paste the shit out of it. Okay, let me try and create some size variations here. Basically the same thing then. Yeah, literally the same thing. Actually, these are just roughs, so I'm just kind of placing them right now. But when I do the final line art for them, maybe then I will actually try and create some kind of variations in them. Uh, I think the main type of variations that I will eventually end up creating is in the position of the fin, maybe the turn of the body a little bit. Are there any audio guys here? EA is looking for an audio guy. You're most welcome to try and apply. Yeah, so have something like this. This is a nice layout to work with, though it is going to take me a lot of time to be able to, just sketch them out properly and also to color them because I can't really give the same color, though most probably what I'm going to end up doing, I think, is apply something like this, right? With a single color and then gradient out that color. So basically, this is what the uh, seaweed below actually looks like. And then I clip masked onto this original layer of paint and then added first this the purples into it, and then on top of that I added shadows into it to basically kind of try and pop her out. So even for this, most probably, I'll actually create the line art properly for them, but I don't think I'm going to color them individually. I mean, I'll have to color them individually, but just fill up color on top of them and then add a gradient on top of it with a soft brush of sorts. Let me just reduce the frame of this. Okay, cool. Let me just place this a little correctly. Yeah, that's better. Cool. So I'm going to do this a little later because this has been quite tiring for me right already. And just being live and drawing out every single one of them is going to be quite time consuming and it's going to drain me completely. So I'm going to stop the stream here, right? And hopefully I will be able to complete this by tomorrow morning and upload either this or the Kathak version and start uploading them as I move into this. Also move into my Lavani design as well because the next one is going to be Lavani. So, try and move into that as well. So, anyway, thank you everyone for joining today's stream. I hope you liked the stream. I hope you liked what it is that I'm working on. I hope you like the idea. And yes, as soon as I put it up on Instagram, you guys will know. I hope you guys like and share that work if you do like the work. And thanks a lot for coming by and making this such an interactive session. And I know I missed one day in this week, which is Tuesdays. I missed my Tuesday session because I got caught up with some other work. So maybe I would do some. Maybe I'll do an extra session next week to try and catch up on it. But yeah, most of my mermaid sessions are going to be like this. Of course, I have a request from Ishan to do a biopunk mermaid. So maybe somewhere in between, I'll try and put in a biopunk mermaid also, though I have absolutely no idea what that is going to look like. But anyways, thank you all for coming by, and I will see you guys next time, mostly next Tuesday, which is going to be the 11th of May. If I do end up having an impromptu session in between in between, so I will put it up on Instagram, and I hope you guys will come by for that as well. Thank you all, and see you all next time.